Hello boys and girls, I'm the Guide Knight and welcome to my new mini-series about GDScript basics. I'm basically going to go over some of the documentation here and explain how things work in GDScript so that you can make your games if you are a complete noob or new to programming languages or new to Python or new to GDScript in that case. So first things first, you can start by downloading the Godot editor. Basically, this is the link. If you don't see it in the upper left, it's godotengine.org. Download Windows. I will probably post in the description as well. Of course, you can download it also for Linux and macOS or Linux server for some reason, if you have that. I wonder if you have Linux server, if you even need this course, but whatever. So what are we going to do basically is we are going to create a new project and then we're going to go through the documentation and I'm going to try to explain all the things or some of the things that I find more interesting there to you. So let's go ahead and start. So after you've installed your Godot, you're faced with the project picker, and here you will click on new project, and I'm gonna go ahead and create a project called GDScript tutorial and select the location for it. Then I'm gonna go ahead and click create project. Now I see the green checkbox. I'm gonna use the OpenGL ES30 and create an edit. So I am going to put probably more or all of my scripts into the world node. So basically this is the Godot engine script. I have created a specific layout. You may see the 3D here. Maybe let me just go ahead and disable that. I basically have created a new profile. I can add a, I don't know, default whatnot profile, make it the current one, and here I have basically disabled the spatial and everything. So now it should be like this is the default one, and if I click on editor, manage editor features, and then I can see my 2D game, which I usually use. I have basically disabled the spatial features here in the 2D game. I don't know what's going on. I disabled the spatial features and also the 3D editor. So basically this is, I did not change it. Yeah, this is without those. You can use the default one or this one if you prefer. So let's go ahead and click on other node in the create root node. I will focus here mostly on GDScript. I will not explain a lot about the Godot editor and stuff. I have some explanation about those in my other game tutorials. So basically all we need to know is click on other node and then create a new node, and then we can double click and rename it to world. And then here with this icon you attach a new script to the selected node. Just click create. It's gonna place it on the resources, which is basically the root folder of your new project, and it's gonna inherit from node. That's it. You see already some stuff here like extends node and function and ready, and there is a pass keyword, and some of them are grayed out because this is basically a command. But let's go ahead and save this and make sure we can run it, right? So I'm gonna click F5, or you can just click here in the upper right corner, the play button. It will ask you to select your root scene or the scene you want to run, basically, the main scene. Just double click the word TSCN, the word scene, and it will start your game. This is your game, but we're gonna mostly look at the output here. So there is no output right now. So if I print here something, if I print test, for instance, I will see the test appear here. So let's go ahead and see what we can do, right? So let's go and open this URL, which is basically, I'm gonna paste it here. This is basically the GDScript documentation, docs.godotengine.org, English, stable, getting started, scripting, blah, blah, blah. Basically, if you just go to this URL, I think it will redirect you to stable, and then you can click like getting started and stuff like that. Where is that actually? Let me just search for it. Getting started. I'm a little bit lost. Anyhow, you can probably just copy or click the link that I will paste in the description. I just basically found it via Google or Bing or whatnot. Actually, DuckDuckGo. That's the engine I'm using currently. So yeah, GDScript basics. I guess you can look for that, right? GDScript basics. Yep, there it is. You can basically search GDScript basics. So let me read what's going on here. Like, GDScript is a high-level, dynamically typed programming language used to create content. It uses a syntax similar to Python. That's very important. It's actually almost identical to Python in some cases, I guess not in all. So if you're familiar with Python, this would be very easy to you. If not, I guess you can learn it easily as well because it's relatively simple. So blocks are indent-based and many keywords are similar. Its goal is to be optimized for and tightly integrated with Godot engine, allowing great flexibility for content creation and integration. So this is the de facto standard scripting language for Godot. So far, this may change in the future, but learning it, I guess, won't be a bad thing, even if it changes, because it's so similar to Python, and Python is basically very versatile, and you can use it in all sorts of places, not only for game creation, but also other stuff. All right, history. Documentation about GDScript's history has been moved to frequently asked questions. So if you want to see some historical documentations or stuff, you can basically click here and look through the frequently asked questions. I don't know where this is exactly. Anyway, that's not important for us. All right, so let's go through the example of GDScript. Some people can learn better by taking a look at the syntax. So here's a simple example of how GDScript looks. So I'm basically gonna go line by line here and explain what this is. Like, a file is a class. This basically, with the ampersand, is a comment. So a comment is something that is not executed by the compiler or by the program, because this is compile and runtime, I guess, language. So it's not executed. It's just information for you. I can type anything, like literally anything. And it won't cause any trouble. I can F5 to run the script, and I still see my test because this is just information for me. It's called a comment. So let's go ahead here. So let's talk about inheritance. What does this mean? Like, this means usually this is at the beginning of your code, basically, right? Of your class. This is a class. The .gd is basically a class, and this is a type node. Node is a pre-implemented class inside Godot. I can click here, and I will see the documentation of Node. There is a description, and there are like online tutorials. You can also see like some demos and see some nodes and whatnot. Basically, you can see introduction to nodes, and basically it is hierarchical. Like, a node can contain many other nodes. The parent node is called parent, and the child node is called child. And it works in a tree-like structure. I think there cannot be like loops, so one node has only one parent, but one parent can be inherited by multiple children. So for instance, this node cannot have two parents, but this node has two children. right? So far, so good. And this is what basically extends means. This means that this is, so to say, a child of type node. So in your class or in your program file, you can use anything that is accessible or usable in the node class. So if I actually go back to my Godot and I see here there is a property called name, right? I have a getter and a setter. Those are functions, and I can set the name, like the name of the node. This name is unique among the siblings. When set to an existing name, the node will be automatically renamed. All right, so if I go here, I can probably just use, first I can print get name, right? And it will use the get name from the node because I am extending the class node, right? I am using all the functions and properties that are in node. So if I print get name, I will have, I will see the node name, right? And here I can also set name, new name, and then I can print get name again, right? I'm gonna get rid of the pass and the print test. So if I press F5 to run it, this is the old name of the node, right? World, because this basically is assigned to the node world. Like this is basically the kind of the name of this thing, right? So if I were to create a new child, like say another thing, like let me create a child node, kinematic. Okay, I think I may have clicked a little bit too much here when I was showing you how to manage the features. Maybe I disabled the 2D as well. Did I? Redesign editor, spatial, canvas item, canvas layer, node. Okay, that's not exactly resources. All right. So basically, what happened is I have disabled the canvas item, and the node 2D is under canvas item. But anyhow, I just wanted to show you something quickly. That is, I can right-click on the word and add a new child node, or just Control A here. Also by clicking on the word with the left click to add a new child node, and I can add a new, for example, new kinematic body 2D, and I can add a new like script. And this thing is already extending kinematic body 2D, and the name would be basically kinematic body 2D. So in my other script, the name is world because I have called it world. Just gonna get rid of the kinematic body 2D for now. So I can also remove the GD script here. Anyhow, let's continue with here. So this is a reference to a class, right? It is referencing a resource. So the class name and this resource basically is allowing you to create your own classes. So the node is a class, and this means that if you create your own class, other nodes and scripts can inherit from that class. And this is the icon that in the editor this class will be associated with. So I can look further. There is a lot more on this thing in the documentation, like defines a class name, an optional icon for your script as noted. And if you look even further down, here you can read instead, you can give your class a name to register it as a new type in Godot, Godot's editor. For that, you use class name keyword. You can add an optional comma followed by a path to an image to use it as an icon. Your class will then appear with its new icon in the editor. So here is an example of an item GD script. It's class name item, and it references a PNG icon, I guess, this bag full of goodies. And yeah, there is more here. also information about inheritance that doesn't allow multiple inheritance and so on. But I guess maybe we will reach this further on. Like, let's just start simple. So here with this, you can define your own class. If I would like to define this like class name hero and an icon, let me just drop here this icon PNG, and then I can add a new, let's say Control A, new node, and this, or actually maybe new hero. Yeah, see, basically I can add this new hero. Then this will be inheriting. What is it inheriting? Wait, is it the same? Same. So basically the icon showed after I went to the project list and reopened the project. And I can add, for instance, a new node. For some reason, if I add it as a hero here directly, it copies the whole thing, and I don't want to have that. I just want to basically have a new extends hero. So if I do that, basically I will be able to use the functions and stuff that I have, or it will crash. That's also an option. So let me try again. In theory, I should be able to extend hero, right? No, I'm not able to extend hero because I need to create a new, I need to detach the script and create a new basically script. So right now I kind of messed up my node. So let me just go ahead and implement ready function, print ready, and then I can implement another function, hit for instance, and some damage. I will talk about functions a little bit later. For now, you just can see like an example, string damage taken, and then I can use this. And then in my hero, I can create a new script, hero GD. I will extend hero because okay, I need to define my class name hero, and the icon will be this default icon. I can just drag and drop from the file system inside the editor. Very convenient to reference it. So if I then now extend hero, will that work? Class name hero. Yes, maybe. So I will remove the comments, and here I can just say hit, right? And I don't know, over 9, I don't know, over 999. So if I start now, my world, basically I should see something. Yeah, damage taken over 9999. So basically, because this is initializing and this is initializing as well, the ready function is called when the thing is added to the scene. And as the word is added by default to the scene, hero is a child of the word, so it's also added by default in that case. And in the ready function, I call hit on the hero, which is basically another class that I just defined. The word tscn basically defines this class name hero, and it defines this hit function, which from my hero I am calling with over 999, and it prints this thing. You see that here the ready function is printed twice because I guess it's inherited, right? I mean, this ready function maybe calls implicitly the parent ready function. So I can maybe print as well the other thing we learned, right? The name, get name. What was it? What was it? Get name. Maybe it was get name. Okay, I need one more phrase here. So if I print it here, yeah, you see that the ready of the hero is called first, then the damage taken of the hero, and then the ready of the world. So I hope this makes a little bit of sense. about classes. It's very important, very nice because you can define your own properties and then reuse them. I guess I'm going to go over this little bit faster, or maybe no, let's not go faster. I want to take my time, so I will just maybe cut the video soon and continue next time. So member variables, like you have different types of variables in Godot. Like a variable is indicated by a var keyword, the name of the variable, and the value. In this case, this is an integer, it's a whole number, and the name is a, and the value is 5. So if I want to print a, it will just print 5, right? So if I like, I can comment out by Control K. Like I'm gonna comment that out as well, and just type in pass, because otherwise I will have a compiler error. I can show you, like if I start to say indented block expected after declaration of hit function. So it's basically declaring a function, it's expecting an indentation, one tap basically, or I think maybe doesn't really matter, but it's nice to be consistent. So I can just type in pass. Okay. Bonus, locked permission, whatever. I guess it saves it for some reason. I don't know what happens. Anyhow, it prints the 5. I'm gonna get my hero away from here. So I'm gonna delete it, press OK, and I'm also gonna delete the hero GD script to keep things simple, getting rid of my hit function. And here I'm just printing A. Like this is printing the integer, and here is printing the string, right? This is a string, so basically a type of text. Like string is text, so to say. So what I'm typing here is a string, it's also text, and I can concatenate it with the plus sign with another string. I think that will work, let's see. It works, right? But if I try to do this, like if I try to do a plus s, like the integer concatenated to the plus sign with the string, what will happen? To say, okay, invalid operator int and string in operator plus. So I need to use the string function, which is basically receiving, it's a function. I still have not talked about functions yet, but I guess it's enough to know that you can put as many things as you want into this function, separate them with a comma, and it will concatenate them as though they were all strings, right? So in that case, I can see 5 hello, and if I wanted to add an empty space, I just add comma, and then an empty space, and then another comma to s, or I could simply concatenate the second part with a plus, because those two are equal, they are both strings, and it will basically be exactly the same effect. All right, here I have an array. An array is several values inside a bucket, so to say. Like I can have an array of string, and it will be the same, like 1, 2, and 3. And basically an array is very, very useful when you have multiple stuff, and some maybe auto-generated, or maybe you would like to store some state of your game or your object or whatnot. You can put those in an array or in a dictionary. I'll talk about dictionaries in a bit. Just let me show you like how you can work with the arrays. You can access each element with like this will basically print 1, and if I do the same here, it will also print 1. So this is the 0th element. Like arrays begin, there is an index here. Like if I go here, this is the index 0, this is the index 1, this is the index 2. So if I wanted to access this one, I'll access it with the index 2. So you access the arrays with their index. So that's important. If I print here, you see like, I don't know if you see that though. Anyhow, it's one integer and one written down as a string. So if you wanted to go through all of those, you can use a for loop. There is a special dedicated part about the for loops later on, but I'm just going to show you here briefly. I can just say for I in array. This defines basically index. I can also call it index for index in array. So basically it goes through all of the array indexes and iterates over them. So this means that if I print index, let me just get rid of that, I should see all the indexes, or like 1, 2, and 3. A for loop is, so to say, the same thing as going through all of the things, but like not manually, like it's an automatically going through all the strings. So if I just array, I don't know if I can actually access the key. Anyhow, it just goes through all the elements in the keys and accesses their indexes. Like you can then access the element inside the index by just doing array index, right, with the square brackets. So this will mean that you get the indexed element, in that case 0 element, element 1, and element 2 afterwards from this array. So this will be 1, 2, and 3. Maybe I can just change it to something else like 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, and 3, 3, 3. To be a little bit less distracting, or even more, I don't know. So invalid index 1, 1, 1 on base. Okay. All right, that's obviously not what's happening, guys. Sorry about that. I guess it goes through the array and accesses the keys inside, right? So basically this is a value. It's not index, it's called value. I'm sorry about this little thingy. I think you can also access it like that. I have not actually prepared this beforehand, so expect some errors from my side. But I think you can also access this with like that, index and value in array. No. What is it saying? Come on. In expected after identifier. Okay, I guess you can always only access that by value. Anyhow, I think you can also look here for arrays, and they can provide you with a nice example things. So you see that you can also mix strings and integers and all other sorts. You can also put an object here in an array. It's very convenient. But we're interested right now in the for loop, right? Let me just go for the for loop to see how we can iterate over the arrays. Maybe that's not here. Maybe it's in the for loop actually section. Probably. We'll get to that. Anyhow, what you need to know is that it obviously accesses the values and not the indexes. So basically, if I print the value here, it will be, come on. It will be basically the values, not the indexes, as I initially thought. So my bad there. The dictionary is basically the same as an array, just it has, it's like a map in some other languages. If you're familiar, basically it has a key and a value. In this case, the key is called key and the value is called value. In this case, the key is called 2 and the value is 3. So I can access the stuff from the dictionary with square brackets, and then I can print key and I can print like 2. And in that case, I'll print the values here, right? I'll print the value and then I print 3. So this is what's happening. And in the case of dictionaries, you can actually use index and like key and value. And I think you can, maybe this will now work. Finally, I can maybe print key and value. I'm a little bit maybe distracted because this actually works in Golang. This is one of the languages I usually program in, but I guess you can also only print key and the value you can just say dict key. can get it. Come on. You can just get the value like that. So key, and then you print the value, and print the key, print the value. This is how dictionaries work. Like you put stuff. It's very, very, very nice because you can get them easier than in the array, because in the array you just need to know the index of this thing, and the index can change. But in that case, with the dictionary, you have a static key, maybe you have a static key, and then you can get the value from that. All right. So this is a typed variable of type integer, and this is a type variable of type string. But this in the cases that is inferred. So what does this mean? Like in that case, we have also inferred type of integer, because 5 is an integer. And in this case, we're saying, all right, this variable can only be integer, right? So if I try to assign it to something that's a string, it will probably fail. It will say it doesn't match the variable's type, right? If you know that a certain variable is of certain type, you can define it, and you get it to give better clarity to your code. And people that won't use your code, or later when you look at it later, you can know that this is of type of certain type, and you can deduce what can happen with this variable. And if I just type untyped variable and just leave it like that, I could actually make the untyped variable a string, and then later on I can make the untyped variable a 5, right? And this would be completely normal. And in the case of this, when I see the untyped variable down the line, I won't know if it's a string or an integer or even an array or an object. So this gives you a little bit, for debugging, it gives you a little bit more clarity when you look at your code. And in this case, you immediately assign the variable type to a string. So there is the dot here, not only the equal sign, but also the like double dots here, colon, I guess. So if I were to assign this like that, it will also complain, because initially it was inferred that this type is string. So basically, this means that when I assign it like this, compared to assignment like this, I will definitely assign it to a string, and then it cannot change its type. So if I were to add the colon here, I would not be able to, I would basically not be able to assign it. Okay, it's already defined. Okay, the variable is defined as untyped, and I cannot change it here. So if I wanted to have it type string, I would just what is that, lacking permissions? So I could just do this, and then I will assign it to string, but I cannot then assign it to an integer. So I guess that's that. It's already 30 something minutes. I'm not sure if we progressed as much as I would want it to, but yeah, I hope you liked it, and I hope it was a little bit useful. If you have any questions regarding those, let me know. I will try to continue down here and explain more in the future. Also, if you are a member already of this channel, and if you followed it, I guess this may not be that interesting for you, so you can, I guess, skip this mini series, and then I will continue with other stuff later on. But I don't know, maybe you learn something useful, maybe it's nice to have somebody to go over the documentation with you. Who knows? So anyhow, guys, stay awesome as I know you are, and see you next time. Bye bye.